You're listening to Cosmic Cousins Soul-Centered Astrology. I am your host, Jeff Henshaw. Thanks for tuning in. Cosmic Cousins is dedicated to honoring the interconnectedness of our universal family through embodied health, self-discovery, and deeper learning. And it is here to bring you back into alignment with the cosmos. So thank you for being here as always. Hey, Cosmic Cousins. Welcome back to another week of the podcast. This is our special Aries New Moon podcast episode right here at the start of Aries season 2023, Cardinal Fire, starting new beginnings. This is the beginning of the astrological year. Many call it the astrological new year. And this is a particularly special Aries New Moon because not only is it found right here at the start of Aries season at the 0 degree of Aries, we're also gifted another Aries New Moon this year. We have 2 back-to-back new moons in this cardinal fire sign. So again, this first new moon, March 21st, 2023, is an Aries New Moon found at the 0 degrees of Aries, while the second new moon is occurring on April 19th, 2023. This is the last day of Aries season, and it's found at 29 degrees of Aries, the final degree. So this is a powerful Aries portal that we're moving through, and this second Aries new moon is a partial solar eclipse, which initiates a new 1.5 year journey of evolution around Aries themes. So this episode feels more like a soft introduction to Aries, and then we'll get to go deeper when we connect to the Aries new moon, the second one, part 2, in a month. So Aries is a sign of new beginnings. It is the sign of incarnation. It is about the spark of existence. And so now that the sun is entering Aries, and we have a lot of other planets in Aries right now is a time for new beginnings. But there's some other shifts taking place astrologically right now that also indicate new beginnings. We know Saturn just entered Pisces a few weeks ago, and Pluto enters Aquarius in just a few days. So let's take a moment to just pause and connect to Aries before we connect to this major long-term transit of Pluto entering Aquarius. So Aries, for embodiment, we always bring it back to the body here. Aries is connected to the face, the brain, and the head. So you can take a moment to honor these sacred parts of the body, taking a deep, nourishing inhale into the face, into the brain, and into the head. You know, Aries on the northern hemisphere, it is the blooming of spring. It's new life. So when I think of the head, I think of seeds sprouting out of the soil. And when it's Aries season, we are on the precipice of Mother Nature's most epic of rituals, which is this blooming of spring, the spring equinox on the northern hemisphere, the autumn equinox on the southern hemisphere. So we're also reminded of balance. Day and night are in equal measure. And we'll have the Libra full moon in just 2 weeks. It's always the Libra full moon during Aries season to balance it all out. And so yes, this time of year, we see little buds sprouting out from the soil. I imagine trees just starting to show little bits of green. It's a very precious and holy, sacred time of year. And, you know, oftentimes Aries is talked about or thought about as this charging full speed ahead energy, which can be true. Some of us might experience it in that way. But this isn't exactly what I receive when I tune into this time of year or into Aries. In some ways, it can feel like a waking up from a deep slumber. You know, we think of Pisces, the final sign of the wheel is connected to sleep. Aries is the waking up. And so in essence, this is us reawakening to our purpose, reawakening to our ancient wisdom. There's something very ancient about Aries. If we think about this sign as the first sign of the wheel, It's connecting us to our ancestors, to the past, to where we come from. And many Aries I know, and I'm just thinking of Queen of Aries, who we named Queen of Aries in 2019, Maya Angelou. I'm thinking of Ram Dass as an Aries that I look to. There is this deep, soulful wisdom. And I think of what it means to be an individual here on this journey, on this plane, on this earth. It took the energy of a survivor, of a warrior, to arrive here and to be here. And even just a seed that makes it through the winter, that soul survivor seedling, it's an incredibly profound archetype. We feel it in the energy of a baby being born. We feel it in the energy of new beginnings, which, from a surface level can feel really exciting. But new beginnings can also be extremely painful and challenging. They really ask us to step up, to persevere. And right now, there's a lot of energy in Aries in the sky. So I'm just going to share it all with you. We have the sun and the moon in Aries, Aries New Moon, Mercury in Aries, Chiron, the wounded healer, Jupiter, planet of expansion and growth, is in Aries, Vesta, the asteroid of hearth and home, of the internal flame, and Eris, the warrior feminine, or the feminist. So the sun and the moon and Mercury, the communicator, the wounded healer, expansion and growth, home and hearth, the warrior feminine, all in this cardinal fire sign. So there is a huge accumulation of what we can say, quote unquote, new beginnings in the sky. But new beginnings don't always mean that it feels great. For some, this could be a very hopeful time, a very energizing time. But I'm seeing Chiron here, which will be illuminated during the Libra full moon in 2 weeks. Chiron is the planet of deep wounds and healing. And in the sign of Aries, this is healing wounds around our identity, healing wounds around abandonment, of being an individual. So there's this strong impulse at this time, and we're encouraged at this moment in time to move forward. This is cardinal energy, to move forward with hope, with fire, to burn through whatever feels tough, and to heal, to be on a healing journey. Chiron and Jupiter are just within 2 degrees of each other. Invest a devotion to the temple of your body, devotion to the temple of your home, lighting a candle. I have a candle lit here, of course. This is the Aries New Moon. And all of this Aries energy is looking towards Mars. This is Aries' ruling planet. And Mars is in the final few degrees of Gemini, where Mars has been for the last 7 months due to its retrograde. But Mars has finally cleared its shadow, so we're entering new territory here. And Mars in Gemini is saying, well, we can't do it alone. Gemini is your cosmic cousin, your cosmic twin. And right now, I actually have a friend of mine who's also a student, who's also a teacher of mine, who is a mirror to me that's staying with me at the moment in time. And they're actually out on a walk right now in the neighborhood, and they're here to help me out to take care of Biji so that I can have some time off to be on my own healing journey as an individual. And so all of this Aries energy is looking towards Mars and Gemini, which is asking, how are you directing your ambition towards your siblings, towards your cousins, your peers? How are you directing your energy towards new thoughts, new ideas, communication, writing? So there is a bit of a social feeling with that Mars and Gemini for sure. But either way, this Aries new moon is an opportunity for us to reset. New moons are times to go within, to reset, to realign with the archetype. And so it's a very special one being here at the 0 degree. And the phrases I have for us for this Aries new moon, I always offer 3 phrases. These are our phrases. I am, I transform, I start anew. I am, I transform, I start anew. I am is a traditional phrase for Aries. I transform is coming from Pluto about to enter Aquarius just 2 days after this new moon. And we'll spend some time connecting to Pluto and Aquarius in a moment because it's a major transit. It's a new 20-year time period. But for now, let's connect to this energy of the new moon. The new moon is the dark night where we're invited to go within, to reset, to realign. And again, this is the first of 2 back-to-back new moons in the sign of Aries. So what is it that your soul longs to learn at this time? What is it that your soul longs to heal in this lifetime? How is it that you want to grow? How is it that you want to sprout? You know, this is the Aries new moon found here at the 0 degree. The Fool in the tarot is number 0. Nothingness. And I have this ritual that when a friend stays with me or a guest stays with me, I have a jar. It's a green jar, and I sat under some beautiful pine trees, these really tall pine trees on the Taurus new moon solar eclipse last year. And I wrote down, I channeled words. I don't even remember all the words that I wrote on little tiny pieces of paper, and there's about 200 words in this jar. And when someone stays with me, I have them pull 3 words, and those 3 words are there to offer inspiration for their stay with me. And I didn't ask permission to share my friend's words, but they're sitting here in front of me on this table, so I feel called to share them because we talked about how they feel Aries, and this individual is an Aries moon themselves. And so the phrases that we received here was needs nothing. And I'm bringing this up because this is Aries new moon at 0 degrees. Needs nothing. Awake, in all caps with an exclamation point. The world is awake. We're conscious. Aries is conscious fire. So on this new moon, we may have new conscious realizations that may come to fruition by the full moon, the Libra full moon. And then navigate. Needs nothing, awake, navigate. So these are some other words that I wanted to bring forward. And I do think of Aries as the initiator. It's a cardinal sign. You can think of a compass. Has the 4 cardinal directions on it. And we wouldn't know the 4 cardinal directions if Aries didn't initiate. Aries really benefits from a practice of connecting to the 4 directions. So when there's a lot of Aries energy, or if you are an Aries, connecting to the 4 directions. And so in my own practice, I like to connect the 4 elements to the 4 directions. And actually my teacher, Amanda Capabianco, taught me this. And it comes from many different indigenous traditions as well. But looking north, we honor the earth. Looking south, we honor fire. Looking east, we honor air. And looking west, we honor water. There's many other different systems too, so you can sit with it in the way that might resonate with you. But Aries, the individual, learns to reorient themselves in the world around them, to navigate, the pioneer, the explorer, carving out a path of their own. And that path can sometimes feel painful. That path can sometimes feel lonely for the Aries. But when we sit with Aries, there's an opportunity, whether you have an Aries sun, moon, or rising, or other placements in Aries, when we're moving through this Aries season, it's important to consider what it means for you to be an individual, to be alone, to be on your own. Aries energy can inspire us to take life by the reins, but if we aren't actually paying attention to nature, if we aren't paying attention to the 4 directions, we'll find that life goes on and it keeps going on, whether or not we will it into creation anyway. Nature is happening. And so there's actually nothing you need to do, needs nothing. That life is flowing. It's in a continuous state of flow. And each of us as individuals, as humans here on this plane of existence, we're really these incredible conduits for universal energy. And so it's important for us to align ourselves with these greater energies so that when we are putting our life in action, that we are acting from a place of intention. Actually, Aries learns to be quite intentional. So there can be a kind of channeling energy with Aries. Yes, number 0 needs nothing. The Fool feels very Aries, and I think it's interesting, we always have the Aries, during Aries season, we have the Fool's Day, April Fool's Day, April 1st. But Aries is also the first sign. So Aries is connected to the number 0. It's also connected to the number 1. And I'm looking at the clock, and it's 11:11 a.m. as I'm saying this on Tuesday, March 21st, 23. 3/21/23 on Tuesday, which is Mars's day. But Aries is the first sign, so it also connects us to the number 1, which is the Magician in the tarot. And the Magician has the 4 elements on the table. It's honoring the 4 direction. It's honoring the 4 elements. In order for us to be fierce Aries individuals, we need to work with elements. But we also need to connect to something higher than ourselves, to universal energy, to universal life force, so you can be that conduit. And so the tarot cards I'm sharing with you aren't traditionally associated with Aries. The Magician is traditionally associated with Mercury, and the Fool is traditionally associated with Uranus. But actually, Aries really resonates with both of these planets, both Mercury and Uranus. Mercury is the esoteric ruler for Aries, and I think Uranus could be too. But either way, I'm sensing into feeling this Magician energy with Aries, this Fool energy, perhaps because this is such an early degree Aries New Moon. The spark of creation, the beginning of an energetic evolutionary cycle. Aries harnesses this ability. And so for us, while working with Aries, or if you have strong Aries, we benefit by dropping the egoic belief that we are responsible for what is being manifested in the world around us and in our life. Yes, we are creators, but we are not the creator. You are just the conduit through which this incredibly charged life force is moving through you. Aries, right? It rules over the head. It's connected to the crown chakra, to the brain. So really breathe into the head. Making meditation a regular practice is great for Aries. It's true for all of us, but finding ways to get out of our sense of self and our sense of individuality from time to time and to connect with God or to Goddess or to Source. This is how we bring ourselves into a flow state. And so we're reminded to elevate our consciousness. We're invited to elevate our consciousness into personification of Source. So remember, it's not the seed that is actually sprouting towards the sun. It's a co-collaboration of many factors. The seed, yes, it's a fierce survivor, little seedling, but actually, the seed has many factors that allow it to grow. The sun, the water that rains upon it, the earth that cradles it, the winds that placed it there in the first place. These are the 4 elements. It's not the seed doing it. It's not you creating your life. You're just a beautiful manifestation of all the elements coming together in human form that infuse and inspire heightened spiritual and intentional awareness into every act. And so this is some powerful invitations for us to consider on this Aries new moon. And so when I say I am all of creation. And Queen of Aries, Maya Angelou, Aries sun, Libra moon, Maya Angelou, she has a beautiful poem called On the Pulse of Morning. And Aries is connected to the morning time. And perhaps I'll read some of that poem to us now. And while you listen to some of this poem, perhaps you can feel into the I am that is life, is nature all around us. On the pulse of morning, a rock, a river, a tree, host to species long since departed, mark the mastodon, the dinosaur, who left dried tokens of their sojourn here on our planet floor. Any broad alarm of their hastening doom is lost in the gloom of dust and ages. But today the rock cries out to us, clearly, forcefully, come. You may stand upon my back and face your distant destiny, but seek no haven in my shadow. I will give you no hiding place down there. You, created only a little lower than the angels, have crouched too long in the bruising darkness, have lain too long face down in ignorance, your mouths spilling words armed for slaughter. The rock cries out to us today. You stand upon me, but do not hide your face. Across the wall of the world, a river sings a beautiful song. It says, rest here by my side. Each of you, a bordered country, delicate and strangely made proud, yet thrusting perpetually under siege. Your armed struggles for profits have left collars of waste upon my shore, currents of debris upon my breast. Yet today I call you to my riverside if you will study war no more. Come, clad in peace, I will sing the songs the Creator gave to me when I and the tree and the rock were one. Before cynicism was a bloody sear across your brow, and when you yet knew you still knew nothing, the river sang and sings on. There is a true yearning to respond to the singing river and the wise rock. So the Asian, the Hispanic, the Jew, the African, the Native American, the Catholic, the Muslim, the French, the Greek, the Irish, the rabbi, the priest, the sheik, the gay, the straight, the preacher, the privileged, the homeless, the teacher, they all hear the speaking of the tree. They hear the first and last of every tree speak to humankind today. Come to me here beside the river. Plant yourself beside the river. Each of you descendant of some passed on traveler. I, the rock. I, the river. I, the tree. I am yours. Your passages have been paid. Such powerful words from Maya Angelou, our Queen of Aries. You may feel that she has Mars and Aquarius, and there was a lot of humanitarian themes in there. But all signs are humanitarians, and Aries becomes the strong individual that is speaking out against things like war, which we felt there, and connects us to our humanity. And we may be feeling this particularly at this time as Pluto is entering Aquarius this week. So I'd love to check in with Pluto and Aquarius with you in a moment. But I just want to remind us, we have this Aries New Moon, I am, I transform, I start anew. We always do a little bit of embodiment here. And so some of our practices for embodiment can be actually pulling tarot cards. So maybe you pull a card for each of those phrases. And if you do, you can tag me on Instagram and I'll reshare. You could also use them as a launching pad for further conversation or for journaling. Or they could be a mantra for yourself. I am, I transform, I start anew. We also practice embodiment by bringing our awareness to our body and to our breath. And so we talked about Aries' connection to the head, the brain, the face. But something important to remember with Aries is to ground. Aries connects us to the root chakra, to the molten hot lava core of the earth. The Emperor in the tarot is Aries card. And so, yes, this is cardinal fire sign, but the deeper we get into Aries, particularly from a soul-centered perspective or from an esoteric perspective, Aries has a lot of embodiment. There is a grounding and earthiness to Aries as it learns to evolve and to grow. The root chakra, the hot lava core of the earth, the Emperor, the I am principle, the connection to nature and the four directions, the navigator. So throughout the coming weeks, if you feel yourself with excess heat or excess energy, excess thought or desire, perhaps you'll bring your awareness to the base of your spine, to the root chakra, and to simply breathe. Even if just sitting for 5 minutes daily to feel the sensations of what is churning within you, like a volcano, it will go a long way towards realigning your path, with greater love, with greater healing. So the Aries affirmation I have for us is, I trust in the power of my individuality. I give myself the space and time to breathe into all that is arising. I am a conduit for universal energy. I trust in the power of my individuality. I give myself the space and time to breathe into all that is arising. I am a conduit for universal energy. And so a deep bow to you and the Aries that lives within you. I hope this new moon offers you a reset and a reorientation as you continue to navigate on your journey. So at this time, let's shift into connecting to Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto in Aquarius, March 23rd, 2023 through January 20th, 2044. That's right, you heard me, 2023 to 2044. This is a long-term transit and shift. And this is a little something I wrote. Dear one, Pluto enters Aquarius this week on Thursday, March 23rd. Many in the astrology community have been hyping this transit up as the, quote, biggest transit of the year. Yes, it is quite the shift. However, I want to remind you that this starts a new 20-year time period of collective healing and collective transformation. So be easy on yourself. Slow down. Take extra time for rest and healing. Drink extra water. Call in the light. Now is the time to hold the high vision for greater collective healing, both within and without. The book that I have out on my nightstand right now is The Heart of Buddhist Teaching, and it's by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's called Transforming Suffering into Peace, Joy, and Liberation. Here's a quote I'd like to share with you that I think can help us when navigating Pluto and Aquarius. The seed of suffering in you may be strong, but don't wait until you have no more suffering before you allow yourself to be happy. When one tree in the garden is sick, you have to care for it, but don't overlook all the healthy trees. Ever while you have pain in your heart, you can enjoy the many wonders of life. So Pluto and Aquarius. To meditate on this long-term transit, you could place out tarot cards. Judgment is the card for Pluto in the tarot. And I'm meditating with the fifth spirit tarot, and I see an individual holding a trumpet up towards the sky and other people looking up towards that individuals, while in the background there's silhouettes of individuals levitating up towards the light. Collective awakening, Pluto, judgment. The star card is Aquarius's card, which shows an individual completely in the nude under the starry sky, and they're healing themselves and realizing that while they heal themselves, they're also healing the collective. The interconnectedness, the ripple effect of healing. So these are two cards to place out to meditate on this transit. And it's likely, if you have been tapped in, tuned in, if you're sensitive, empathic, it's likely you've been feeling the shift of Pluto entering Aquarius, building momentum over the last few weeks, even over the last few months. Pluto transits can bring with it a deep, slow churning. They can feel intense. There's shadow work involved, exploring the underworld. There's soul purging. There's transformation. There's acceptance. There's death. There's rebirth. So new life themes and realizations may arise at this time that challenge you to face your fear, to face your pain, your grief, your sorrow in a new way. For those of you who have already been on this sort of journey, Pluto entering Aquarius could invite you to share these gifts with the world, to use your communication, your intellect, your astrological wisdom, your insight to bring healing to these parts of life. But what's important to remember with Pluto and also just with being a human is that grief, pain, sorrow, there are no escaping these realities. As humans, we all experience these themes at some point in our life. And so with Pluto and Aquarius, we are encouraged to be present with these themes collectively in order to awaken our capacity for greater love, for greater humanity and altruism. So I've created a list of ways Pluto and Aquarius may show itself to us, both individually and collectively. For those of you with Aquarian placements, it's likely that you may have opportunities to really touch deeply to these themes and then to share these gifts with others. For those of you who have other placements, things in Gemini and Libra, the air signs, this may be an opportunity for you to utilize your communication and your interpersonal skill sets to talk about the deeper parts of life. For those of you with strong fire placements, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo, Aquarius is sextile, Aries and Sagittarius, and opposite Leo. The fire signs are here to create and here to inspire and uplift. Pluto entering Aquarius is reminding you that whatever your philosophy is, whatever your religion, whatever the action is you're taking in the world, that somehow it needs to also honor and acknowledge the pain of humanity, the trauma of the collective, Pluto and Aquarius. And there's a leaf blower going off now. I tried to record this episode yesterday on the first day of Aries season, and I had to stop because of the leaf blower. But today I just have to push forward and trust that it's part of it. So I apologize. I'm in a new location. I'm in a little bit more of an urban environment, and so there's more sounds around. This is a new challenge for me. But what's interesting is this new home I'm living in has lots more crows, and I'm connecting the crows to Pluto and Aquarius. I'll talk more about that another time. For those with fixed sign placements like Taurus and Scorpio, Pluto entering Aquarius will square these two signs. So there's an opportunity to be at a crossroads and to build and to step into leadership. So pay attention to where Aquarius is in your chart. And I want to share this list of ways Pluto and Aquarius may show itself to us. And again, Pluto is deep work, so there is a disclaimer here. These are a bit more sensitive topics of life. And so as I read this list off to you, if it feels overwhelming to the system, perhaps you bring your awareness to your body and your breath. And so Pluto is connected to the underworld. It's connected to the underworld of our body. This could be the organs, the reproductive organs. So any private parts, this is connected to Pluto. And Aquarius is connected to the ankles, the Achilles tendon, the calves, the nervous system. This is an important one. The nervous system in the energetic body. So to connect to Pluto and Aquarius, embodiment-wise, we're talking about the reproductive organs and the nervous system. So maybe you send love to these parts of your body, and the nervous system, this is like the internet. Aquarius is connected to the internet. The nervous system of the collective, the energy of the planet. So the underworld of the planet as well. I think of the subway in New York City as being very Pluto, traveling the underworld. So Pluto in Gemini was actually when the subway was created in New York. Pluto, the underworld, Gemini, short-term travel. So Pluto and Aquarius, there could be some travel that comes forward with Aquarius, connecting us to the globe at large. But I don't like to get too predictive. The list of things that I'm going to read off to you is more about our soulful journey. So, yes, bring awareness to the body and the breath. If it feels too overwhelming and activating for the nervous system, you always have the opportunity to pause. And I think that that's important because Pluto can it can dredge up things from underneath the surface. So allow this list to wash over you And know and trust that since you are being called to astrology at this time, astrology is connected to Aquarius, that we will be called as astrologers, as an astrology community, to use this offering to bring deeper healing to the shadowy parts of life. Psychology is Plutonian, therapy, and Aquarius is astrology, so we'll likely be building bridges between these practices over the coming decades. Again, this is a 20-year transit, so it's not like it all happens overnight, but there's a building up from 2023 to 2044. So here's our list for Pluto and Aquarius. Greater perspective on addictions, compulsions, and toxic abuse patterns, both within and without. Aquarius brings us greater perspective. Pluto is connected to addictions and compulsions. The power of the internet. It is utilized to understand and heal intergenerational trauma. The power of the internet is utilized to understand and heal intergenerational trauma. Aquarius is the internet. Pluto is intergenerational trauma. New vocabulary emerges, Aquarius, to empower Pluto, the collective, towards greater freedom. Strides in technology bring greater healing to chronic diseases through new vaccines and medicines. Aquarius is technology. Pluto is connected to diseases. Aquarius, healing. Pluto, healing. Support networks emerge to facilitate healing and dialogue around sexual abuse and trauma. Greater education on the history of humanity from the perspective of marginalized communities is supported through the uplifting of all voices. Sudden breakthroughs and awareness around unconscious patterns create a ripple effect of healing. An emotionally detached vantage point allows one to face their inner demons with compassion and understanding. New systems emerge that help to bring expansive awareness around the interconnectedness of trauma that is felt throughout humanity. The psychological repercussions of the internet's ability to offer immediate access to information is revealed. The psychological repercussions of the internet's ability to keep people bound to abusive peoples and toxic communities is revealed. Pluto is about revealing toxic patterns, and Aquarius is the internet. New technologies and points of views help regulate our nervous systems. New technologies make alternative modes of healing and therapy available and easily accessible to all. Superconscious rebellion, this is Aquarius, advances society forward towards psychological freedom, Pluto, and liberation for all. Stronger alliances and interdisciplinary research emerges to build greater bridges between psychology and astrology. So these are some of my maybe visions or high visions for Pluto entering Aquarius, some of the things I'd like to see take place over this time. But wow, we are in for some major collective healing. And we have felt a lot of collective energy over the last few years. Saturn was in Aquarius the last 3 years, and this was the pandemic and social distancing and, just a lot unfolded during that time. And so whatever structures have been put in place over that time, they're going to be utilized even more as Pluto enters Aquarius. And so again, I want to remind us all, yes, this is a major transit, but it's a long-term transit. So be easy on yourself. Again, slow down. Take extra time for rest and healing as we integrate and shift into this new 20-year time period. And I want to remind you that whatever you're feeling come up with this Pluto and Aquarius transit, that you're not alone in it. We're all in it together, humanity. And I'm feeling it deeply. I'm an Aquarius sun with an Aquarius rising, so you may imagine that this shift of Pluto entering Aquarius has been quite deep and intense for me already. I feel it on such a profound level, and I feel my power to Hold space is growing. And so again, if you are looking for an astrology reading right now, I mean, this is a great time for an astrology reading. Deep psychological healing is Pluto, and cosmic objective perspectives is Aquarius. So they join together. And so we're going deeper in with astrology over the next 20 years. And again, I have tarot readings, astrology readings, and one-on-one mentorships available. And I would be honored to hold space for you in that way. So, yes, happy Aries season to you. If you are an Aries, happy birthday to you. And big love to all of the Aries and Aquariuses out there and everyone else. I'm wishing for you a transformational and healing Aries New Moon. If you enjoy this podcast and you'd like to support the production of it, you could rate, review, leave 5 stars. You could also become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/cosmiccousins. Thanks as always for being here. Take sweet care, and remember, deep breaths.